Welcome back to the Magento Podcast, and now the conclusion of the conversation with Slava Kravchuk.
I think a lot of merchants or businesses worry about things like vendor lock-in, getting stuck. There's a lot of models that are based on rev share. So you're looking at, take rate. You mentioned total cost of ownership. I say we're entering a phase where adapting and being flexible is probably of very high importance for businesses. I think there's solutions that we don't even know about yet that could be transformative for many businesses. So in terms of the agency side, and this is something that we talk about a lot in my agency, is the idea of developing relationships with your clients where you're a true partner. You're not really a vendor. You're not telling them we have the answer before you understand the problem. We're basically a team of technologists that are moving with the evolution of technology and keeping our eyes on everything. And so, developing that agency mindset where you're a partner solving problems for your clients, I think is a lot different than starting an agency that's selling a specific service. I see a difference of agency types as an agency that sells a solution, like a SaaS solution, versus an agency that really wants to be a partner, a technology partner. Do you see there being a difference between those two things, or what's your view about that?
Yes, of course, there is a difference between being just a provider of a single solution or type of service and actually having real partner relationship with the client and being the trusted partner. And from my experience, I also see a lot of agencies, they aspire and strive to move towards that model when they are really trusted partner. Although that partnership is hard, because you cannot just say, okay, today I'm a partner, so from this day on, we have a real partnership. The partnership has to be earned, and of course, it's built on trust. So one thing that's needed is time, the track record of actually showing and proving that worth, and having merchant really trust in your ability to advise and guide them along the journey, and not only focus on the specific solutions of today, but also taking a step back and looking at the whole business of the merchant and also their digital roadmap and the goals they have in front of them as far as how do they plan to service their customers, let's say 3 or 5 years from now. And then walking back and helping them map the journey and hopefully guide them on that path, which is not easy. And it's wonderful if you get to that state, and that relationships, they usually go a very long way. And that's how we also were able to build the agency over so many years to where we are today, is relying on those long-term relationships.
And I would say focus on, listening and helping and solving problems. And it's almost like the merchant or the client can go on this journey with you. They kind of show you the way as you discover problems. That's been my experience. And I think there's a certain hurdle that you get over that maybe you don't even know if you're an evolving agency that starts as selling a solution because that's how you get into the game. And then you build these relationships and you earn the trust of these companies and you help them solve your problems. And then it actually one day you kind of become a partner without saying it. Like it feels that way. And I think the other thing about the B2B space, and I'm going to make this kind of statement that I think the Magento is a really good solution for B2B. And what's different about B2B to B2C is that obviously, like we had covered, the solutions are more complex. They have there's more customizations. Magento offers a lot of things that you can use off the shelf, but the relationships are also different. you don't really become a disposable vendor. You become an integrated partner. And that's the kind of like next level of an agency that I think a young agency might want to think about, is how do you become more of a durable, critical partner as opposed to a marketing agency who can kind of be, kicked aside to try out another marketing agency, which I think happens a lot in the marketing game. So I don't know if you like have a similar view of that. That was kind of our roadmap, our experience.
Yeah, absolutely. And the further we go along, the harder it becomes for merchants, from my experience, to actually find their own way in this e-commerce world, especially with onset of AI and AI generated content. Today, if you would open LinkedIn, you would open blog posts, you can see a lot of those are out there just for the purpose of creating the marketing content for companies. And it's harder and harder for merchants to find what information they can actually trust. And their full-time job usually is something else. It's not about just tracking e-commerce and what they should be doing there. They're busy running their companies. And that's why they need somebody who can actually help them discern and make sense of what is going on in that e-commerce world today. What is just a fancy one-day trend that people are excited about, and what is something that they need to act on and get ready for big changes that are coming. So I would say in this new world that we get into, there is more and more place for those partner relationships, but they're also hard to build. And like you say, you cannot just name yourself a partner. It's a little bit like dating girls in high school. You're not just coming forward and say, okay, so can I call you girlfriend now? Can we be boyfriend and girlfriend? It's not exactly how it works, right? So you just want to kind of that be the fact without having to just name it.
Yeah. Listen, be helpful, be proactive when you can, keep pace with your clients. Yeah, those are kind of our mantras. It's like, don't go too fast and definitely don't go too slow. Listen, and then always be kind of planting seeds about things that we could be doing in the future. So I want to get back to the Magento Association. Obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but I think you've been part of the Magento Association for a while in the past. Why don't you reflect on what you think the Magento Association is? Like, what is the value of the Magento Association? How is it changing? And kind of what do you hope to see is the future of the association? And maybe what would be the benefits of joining the association if you aren't already?
That's a great question. And Magento Association has been a big part of my life. I spent 7 years of my life actually serving on the board of directors, and last year as the president of the association. And we went through big changes throughout all that time. When the association just got started, was founded by Adobe, right in the process of transition from Magento to Adobe. And I would imagine that the idea behind the association and the motivation for people to start that project was very different from where we took it today. And through Adobe's acquisition and all of that integration, we went along that path together. So Magento Association today, I'm actually really proud of what we have achieved and what we were able to build, because in my opinion, a community like ours just needs a place that is for everyone, where everyone is welcome, where no single agency, entity, company, partner runs the show. It's not dependent on some decisions made in the closed club. It's not like it's just the select few can be part of it and they make the call. It's a really living community organism, I would say. And what we are able to achieve is, I would say, the governance model where we have elections happening every year. A part of the board is refreshed every year. Any member can nominate themselves, and there is a transparent process. And that makes it actually independent and open to change and open to new energy. Because every year when we have new board members, it's always an injection of fresh thoughts, fresh direction, fresh energy from people. And it might sound like a simple thing, but it wasn't always like that. It took us, I think, about 4 years or 3 years to get to our first elections. And this is something that was a big project to host. And now it's a routine thing. And we were able to build a place where everyone can contribute based on their talents. And for a long time, we heard that Magento ecosystem is primarily for developers. And this is something that we wanted to change as the board, and where we took steps to find those different areas where everyone can contribute according to their skills and interests. So now we have events. As a member, you could apply to host a Meet Magento event in any location where there is no Meet Magento event yet. So now we have a network of over a dozen of those independent companies hosting Meet Magento events for the community. And the ethos of those events is designed to also be open and facilitate the ecosystem and just invite everybody and see what kind of wonderful projects can come to life as a result of cooperation of those wonderful minds we have in the community. Of course, we have code contributions. Of course, we have the podcast that we're talking on right now. As the result of last year's effort, we were able to launch the documentation project, both for merchants and also for developers on Magento Open Source. Because with Adobe's transition, there was no place to actually learn much about Magento Open Source and what it is as a product, and find that documentation in a user-friendly way. So that has been something that the association achieved. And there are a lot of other things I could mention, that the essence is that it's all done by volunteer people, volunteer members of the association. And this is something unique. I don't really know of any other e-commerce platform that has a community like this and has a platform, an association like ours, where anyone could come, contribute, and when people ask me, why would I do this? What do I get out of this? My answer is, you get out what you put in. And it would be different for everyone, again, depending on what exactly you're trying to do. But it's a platform to amplify whatever ideas or initiatives that are worthy. And if you find success with that, that could be a start for a big, wonderful project.
I think what drew me to open source was the idea that you could build technology that can compete with the largest companies in the world by just having collective action. You know, people coming together and doing something for mutual benefit. And I think the association is part of that kind of ethic, that, you know, we can create something incredible by just including everybody and coming together and sharing ideas. So yeah, the events, if you're listening to this podcast, the events are growing. They're happening all over the world all the time. And I think I'm good. Slava, you have anything else to say?
No, I think that's a great call to action. Join the association, contribute, make your impact, and we are here for you.
Yeah, and build beautiful agencies that help people.
Absolutely. Right on.
All right, right on. All right, that's Matt Harris with Slava. We had an incredible conversation. This is the Magento Association Podcast. Listen to us where you listen to podcasts. Go to the Magento Association website. Check it out. Join. Check out the events. We hope to see you soon.